Hi, this recording is for Monday, May 1st, and the exercise that you're going to be doing. The video itself, obviously, you've already found is listed on the calendar under May 1st, as is the assignment. But the assignment itself is the flowchart quest right here. The idea of the flowchart quest is to get you thinking through troubleshooting, as well as utilizing these flowcharts that we talked about the other day, and using them to help you think your way through different possible problems. So the idea of the quest here, I already have it written out, but down here at the bottom you'll see 6 possible PC issues. You have to take 2 of those, and at the bottom of the assignment you're going to type up where it says add submission here, you're going to type up your inputs that are similar to the one I have up top as my example. So the example up here says, example, my computer will not log onto the network. So now you have to think both by yourself, how would I work through this, as well as looking at the spreadsheets or the flowcharts that we've got to help you out with the different things that might be an issue here. These are open-ended. Obviously, at any point on the list that I've got on here, we may have already found the solution, but the idea here is that I'm writing down all the different things that it possibly could be. So it says my computer will not log on the network. So the first thing I said is confirm the PC is on, and at the logon screen, just because they said it won't log on the network does not, although the implication would obviously be there, that the computer is on and they're at the logon screen. So I go down there and I'm going to look at this PC, make sure it's on, it looks like it's running normally, and it in fact is the problem. Now, if that isn't the problem, then we've got a whole other set of spreadsheets and flowcharts that we can look at, but we're assuming that that's what the actual problem is. It won't log on the network. So, number 2, I said reboot the PC and see if you can log on now. That's the first thing we do. We know about the Windows memory error that can happen, and the fact that many people don't actually restart their computer ever, and if they leave it locked when they leave school or their business, or if it's not set up like ours is, you may just need to restart the PC. If you can, explain to the user the importance of a hard reboot and what that really means, how it cleans up the memory. But we're going to assume while we go on here that that's one thing I can do, so I go to the next step. Now I'm going to confirm that the Ethernet port is lit on the back of the PC. If the Ethernet port is not lit, I've got a number of things from there that I can do to say, why is it not lit? Okay, so number 4, it says, if it is not lit, it could be the cable, the port on the PC or the wall, the connection to the comm closet in the walls, a disconnected cable in the comm closet, the drivers on the PC, the NIC card itself. I've got all those things that could cause the light not to come on. So I'm thinking about those things that are attached to that. So now I've got a subsession. Okay, so I said ask when it would last work. Have there been any maintenance or changes since then? You know, have they seen maintenance out in the hallway? Have they seen people up in the ceiling? Use a small 5-port switch and plug it in where the PC was. Does that light on and connect? If it does, we've isolated that the problem is the PC. If it doesn't, we've isolated the problem is probably, not definitely, probably not the PC, because I've just plugged it into a switch, the switch didn't light up, it's not getting a connection to a network, so most likely it's not the PC. So it says if it does, it is the PC. In other words, the PC didn't light up, but the switch does, so it's got to be the PC. If it does not, it is an issue somewhere prior to the PC. So I got a light, so I'm going to say the next thing is, to confirm that it's the PC, I'm going to try connecting a laptop with the Wi-Fi off to the cable. If it logs on, then it is something with the PC itself. We know now that it's the PC. If it's not, and I didn't write up every single permutation here, if it's not, then I might say go to step 8 if I had continued this on. So the idea here is we're thinking our way logically through all the possibilities, because when you've actually got a PC, it's actually harder to do that, because we tend to not follow those 13 lessons of troubleshooting that we talked about the other day. We tend to gravitate to one thing and not think big picture. So now I'm going at step number 5. I said log on as administrator. Obviously you guys can't do this, but if we could, we'd log on as administrator, or if it's not here, trail. Delete the NIC and the device drivers, then rescan and see if the device drivers reload. If they don't reload, it could be a physical problem with that device. In other words, they should reload. They're already on the computer. I delete it. I say rescan, and it should re-add the drivers if the device is working well. If it doesn't reload, I have a couple options. I can go to the website, try to download the drivers themselves on a different PC, put them on a flash drive, and bring them over. But let's say it does. If the drivers load, check the network icon on the lower right and see if it shows connected now. Reboot and try to log on again, because now we've reloaded the drivers and it may work fine, just like we do many times with the sound drivers on the laptop. If the drivers do not load, try an extra NIC, an expansion card in the PC, and see if those load and if it works. Remembering that drivers may be required to get working in the first place. In other words, I'm going to go with this PC, I'm going to go and try an expansion card, put that in. Most likely it's going to come with a disk, then I'm going to have to load the drivers. Now can I get on the network? And if now I can get on the network, then I'm going to make some assumption that something's now wrong, and I stopped it here. But I could keep going with this one trouble of not logging on, because I could say, okay, it works with the NIC card, then it's something's wrong with the connection on the motherboard, but does that mean there's something wrong with the connection on the motherboard? No, not necessarily. Somebody could have gone on to BIOS and turned off the network card. If the network card is turned off in BIOS, then it's not going to work when we're in Windows. And most likely, the drivers are not going to reload when we're in Windows because it's been disabled in BIOS. So you can see what I'm trying to get you to do here. I'm trying to get you to take one problem, and that's why I said you can pick any two of those. Spend half the time on one, brainstorming and thinking through all the things that it possibly could be. Because right now we're just on the internal things. What if it was external things? How do I start looking at those things in the wall? I backtrack back to the comm closet, which is not really the case in this class, which is why I didn't go on to it. That's something we might do in advanced tech. We're just talking about PC things here. So definitely I would stop probably here at number 7, although I might look at the BIOS. Is the network on in BIOS? But for all intents and purposes, if it's a PC issue, we've kind of isolated those things right now. And if it's not, it's going to go on to other things. So you can see what some of the other things are. You've got 6 other choices. You've got to pick 2 of them. And you're going to spend the whole class thinking through what kind of problems could be related to the initial indication that we're given on a PC. Okay? Just brainstorm it through there. I'd like you guys, when you get through there, like I can't get on the internet, so I've got network problems, to go back and look at some of these flowcharts and say, okay, that would definitely be a flowchart that goes with network problems. So I'm going to look at the network problem flowchart and try to see if it gives me any other ideas that I already didn't do on this one, which there are, that I haven't thought of or haven't tried to set to do that. So this is both to make you think about all those things and to make you get into these flowcharts, take a look at them, and see how they logically walk you through problems that you might face on a traditional PC. So that's your assignment for today, Monday, May 1st, 2017. Might use this video on something in the future, so if that's not the day we're talking about, maybe it's 2018, but you get the idea. Okay, have a good day today, guys.